I will be talking about the full moon in Cancer or Capricorn, the full moon in Capricorn that happened on July 21st. So about a week and change ago. My life has been pretty busy. I recently moved. I also have a toddler, so you guys know it's been a bit hectic. But it really was important for me to continue following the transits and basically keep you guys up to date and, continue doing my new moon and full moon readings. So, what you'll see in this video, I'll be covering new moon and full moon mantra, as well as writing prompts, some self-care, and covering the human design gate 56 as well as gate 60. So if that is of interest to you, feel free to watch this video and also check out my Instagram, because on Instagram I make these videos in IG graphics, where I basically do graphics that cover this information, and you can follow along with the graphics or you can view the graphics if you just want to get the information in a visual, aesthetically pleasing manner. Excuse me. So let's hop into it. I recently just recorded the new moon in Cancer video that happened on July 6th. So if you want to know the transit before this one, you can check out that video. It is currently uploading as I'm recording this video. So that video you can watch probably later in the day or another day after this video. So let's hop into the full moon in Capricorn that happened on July 21st. So my mantra for this past full moon was new lease on life. Because for me, this full moon, which is actually the second full moon in Capricorn, we had another full moon in Capricorn that happened in June rather. This is the second full moon, and whenever we have two full moons in the same sign, we're usually able to see that the second full moon is culminating some of the energy we experienced in the first full moon. So that is something that you can experience. But also, I do want to highlight that if you are interested and you enjoy these videos, if you follow my Instagram account at withlovecole, which is the same handle as my YouTube, you can get the information and also just keep up with me and connect with me there. I also continue to post information about the human design gates. I relate them to my life. So it's kind of like you feel like you're going on a human design experiment journey with me. And you also get to see my life as a mom, because my daughter is my world, and I just share so much about just my journey of motherhood as well. And I also have those videos on my channel, so you can check out my videos on motherhood, postpartum, etc. So I guess since I kind of jumped the gun and haven't really told you guys a little bit about me, just before we hop into the transit, let me give you guys a little background about who I am. So my name is Nicole Ballantyne. I'm a wellness entrepreneur, human design reader, intuitive, mother, and wellness entrepreneur. So I do a lot of different things, and it's really just different expressions of who I am, depending on the day and depending on the role that I want to play, that just allows me to share my gifts and my interests with you guys. So if you're interested in human design or wellness or even herbalism, because I run an apothecary where I make sea moss, which is a sea algae that has 92 of 102 minerals the body needs, feel free to check out all my links that are in the description. I already have my description up for this video, so you can just check all my links and just, stay in touch with me, check out my services and my products, etc. All right, so now let's get back into this video. So the full moon in Capricorn, the first mantra I put was a new lease on life, because we're transiting gate 60 at this time, and that gate reminds us of our limitations. And sometimes our limitations stem from our beliefs. And when we are reminded that we can live a life that is without limits, that is boundless, we can help reframe our beliefs and change those beliefs so that we can have a new perspective and a new outcome. The next thing I put, because this, I'll tell you guys the Easter egg. I always put an Easter egg in my videos, but the Easter egg for this video is to go check the Inside Out movie. I think it's Inside Out 2. I recently saw it with my daughter. It was such a fun time that we had. It was a beautiful movie, kind of overstimulating for me. I'm used to Disney movies that weren't so stimulating, but I think that the younger generation is able to handle just like fast-paced visuals, and with that the movie was very fast paced in terms of like the scenes were constantly changing. But the beauty of it, it kind of reminds us to tap into our joy. We watch the main character go through different she's going through puberty, and we get to see her like basically see what's happening in her brain with all her emotions. So we have angry, we have sad, we have joy. And we see that joy, which is a character but also an emotion, she is kind of like the one who holds everything together. And it's a reminder that when we have all our emotions but we lose our joy, we lose ourselves, because joy is kind of like the source emotion for us. And we always want to strive to find more joy, be in our joy, because our joy connects us to the universe, it connects us to God, or whatever you believe in. So for the second mantra for this new moon, or full moon rather, in Capricorn, I'm doing a few of these videos today, so bear with me if I mess up saying new moon versus full moon. You will see in the title, this video is for the full moon in Capricorn. I have for the mantra the joy vibration. And the joy vibration is a reminder that this is where we want to be. This is, excuse me, this is where we want to be, especially when we are going through major changes. We want to always remember to find our joy, or to move towards being in the vibration and frequency of joy. So now let's talk about some full moon and Capricorn themes. So for the second full moon, we have some of the themes are meditation, distraction, hope, enlightenment, priorities, revelation, anticipation, response, grounding, tower, and new starts. So we see that with every full moon, the full moon is always culminating an energy or an experience. And this full moon, it really was a reminder to culminate the energy of our distractions and learning to give them their place. As we see in the movie Inside Out, the main character is often distracted by her emotions and the feelings that are going on with inside of her, but also her past memories. And ironically, right now, as I'm making this video, we are transiting gate 33, which is the gate of retreat, and in the 6th line, which is the line of the role model. And it's a reminder that sometimes forgetting, because forgetting is the shadow frequency of gate 33, is necessary to find our joy and to move through life, leaving our karmic past behind. So now let's talk about the energy reading for this full moon in Capricorn that recently passed. And this is also great because today is August 4th, and August 4th is the new moon in Leo. So we have a new moon in Leo happening, and this transit that I'm talking about now goes 2 weeks back to our last full moon. So here it says for the full moon in Capricorn, our energy reading. In a world full of noise, how do you choose peace? Energetically, big things are happening, and Jupiter is here with its gift horse. And ironically, when I did the astrology outside my window, like I used the Night Sky app, there's Pegasus right outside my window. And Pegasus is a horse. I think if I'm correct, it was Hercules' horse. But it's just a reminder that horses are a protective element for us. Today I went hiking and actually saw horses, which was really cool. I'll post a short showing my hot girl walk earlier today. But horses are such a beautiful animal because horses really are in tune with nature, and horses understand how to go with the flow in nature. And actually, I'm going to give you guys a little not hint, but a little quote that is reflective of the current transit, which is the new moon in Leo. But it's related to horses, so I think it connects to this past full moon in Capricorn. The very softest thing of all can ride like a galloping horse through the hardest of things. So here's that reminder that when we're able to move with the transits and understand what is astrologically happening in the sky, we can be like a horse galloping through the worst of things. All right, so now back to the full moon in Capricorn. So here is the rest of what it says. This energy calls for a renewal of hope and a consideration of all that is possible. I wrote, hope is the medicine in times of uncertainty. We wait for hope to show its presence through signs in the universe. Sometimes the universe sends us signs through the difficulties and frustrations we experience, or even expedite. Sometimes we bring these difficulties to ourselves in life, and other times it comes like a butterfly floating past on a summer day. The key to seeing the sign is connecting to life and all its opportunities for joy. So, in the movie, I did get kind of busy with my daughter because, of course, watching a 3D movie that's also very overstimulating with a toddler, she wasn't going to sit there for long. So, I was getting up, so I kind of missed elements of the plot. But basically, what the main character had to do was learn how to, because what Joy tried to do, which is another character, which is like the main character's emotion, Joy, but she's also kind of like an animated character in the movie. She tries to just get rid of all of her old thoughts, like all of the memories, and just trash everything in hopes that the main character would be able to regulate her emotions. And that wasn't helpful at all. So she realized she had to go back and actually just be selective of what memories were important, because we do need to have some sort of history or some sort of way of working so that we can like a mindfulness basically, so that we can move forward. We can't just like act like our life hasn't happened or the experiences we had didn't happen. We have to be able to take what we need to move forward that's going to be most beneficial for us. So that's what she does in the movie, and she's able to get through puberty, and of course she's dealing with like her girls, I want to say softball team. That's the thing. Like, I saw the movie, but did I see the movie? She wanted to basically still be cool with her friends, because she was going through one of those like situations where it's like she was kind of like outgrowing her old friend group, but those were her really good friends, and she kind of like played them, trying to like connect with this new friend group who's like the popular kids, the girls who were on her team, because she was playing a sport. And basically she had to learn like she needed to be good to her friends, but she also can still be in community with these new friends without losing who she innately and truly is. All right. So now let's talk about the human design gates that transited during this time. So gate 56 transited in the fourth line, which is interpersonal. And this transited our conscious sun. Hi. And then we also had gate 60, which is the gate of limitations, transit our conscious earth in the fourth line. So here we have the very physical and material energy of limitations that we're experiencing, but also we're drawn, the sun and identity right now was in distractions and wandering and being able to kind of explore and adventure life and stimulating our senses, especially because it's summertime, but honoring the fact that there is still a reality that we exist in as humans, right? All right, so here's what I wrote for human design gate 56 in the fourth line. And I'm going to readjust myself because the way I've been sitting definitely was making my hip hurt. I sound like I'm over 30. So here's what it says. The collective is seeking a voice. Whenever the system, the body, is overwhelmed, it's a sign something isn't being released. In the I Ching, this 56 hexagram of wandering is referenced by the archetype of the wanderer. Stimulating the senses is how we experience life, and the point of this stimulation is to share an expression for our experiences. The 56 gate is located in the throat center, so it's all about having the experience so we can share the story of the experience with others, especially in the fourth line. It says, like the alchemist who travels to find himself only to return home, the seeker travels to experience, to come to an internal understanding of life. Part of the reason why we travel, and I literally had a travel blog called Latitude and Avenue, where I documented my travels, and literally what that experience did for me was it allowed me to find peace in stimulating my senses of movement, of being able to see other cultures and the way other people lived. But I was able to then come back to myself and have an inward understanding of who I am based on those travels, those experiences, and those people I've met. So it says, here's a reminder: the journey of self will always lead you back home to you, and the adventure is all you get to discover on the way there. And life is about the journey, it's about the adventure. And when we travel, when we distract ourselves, we sometimes stumble upon the very thing that we needed, or the very wisdom that is meant to guide us on the next part of our journey. For example, my travel blog, Latitude and Avenue, I thought that was going to be my forever thing. And then when I thought about how it's connected to a past that I actually don't want to be a part of, and it has memories attached to it and things, I decided to dissolve it so I can move forward and create my YouTube channel, which is With Love Cole, and like also build out my website with Love Cole. And I knew that, like, although I may go back to it, I still have the site and things like that. I knew that that part of my journey actually brought me to something deeper. And what I thought I wanted to build out with my travel blog actually was so much deeper than what it was. My travel blog, I was like, oh, it could be about vibing and like, you know, meeting people across the world. And like, I wanted it to have a resort shop. So it was going to be about clothes and things that are a little more earthy, as well as a little frivolous. And what it actually drew me to was being able to create a spiritual platform and intersect what I learned from my experiences with wellness and spirituality, which I think are it's a way more holistic platform, but a way deeper understanding of self, as well as being able to help people on a much deeper level. Because it's not just about providing clothes or providing experiences, but it's more about providing contemplation and introspection. I'm just going to tap my screen because I thought my camera got dark. All right, so that was gate 56. So now let's talk about human design gate 60, which is known as the gate of limitations. This gate is a Saturn gate, and it is in 60.4 is where it is traveling during the time of the full moon in Capricorn. So here's what I wrote. Acceptance is the key to transformation. Only from a place of deep acceptance can we release the expectation of success and gain pleasure from the doing. Limitation is a framework of the Maya, and the Maya is basically the physical world, the mechanics of everything you see around you, and rooted in earth and its material form. It's a reminder we are just spirits operating in a physical and limited body. When this awareness is recognized, the body can begin to rewrite the code of our limiting genes. Like the human spirit, the human body is designed to transcend itself, continually becoming stronger, faster, and more resilient. Anytime we choose to be determined yet flexible in the face of opposition, we create a wormhole for humanity to leap through. The quickest way out is through. So when we transcend our own DNA and our own limits, we create not only something for ourselves, which is a better, more expanded human being, but we show people that they can do this for themselves. And at the time of this transit, the new moon in Leo, which is today, this intuitively made me think of the Olympic Games that's happening. And we see that people like Sha'Carri, like Simone Biles, Sha'Carri Richardson, transcending their DNA. They're literally showing that the human body can be pushed to these amazing limits, or not even limits, because they're transcending these limits by hitting fastest time. Sha'Carri got a silver medal in Paris in one of her races. Simone Biles and the women's team got the gold medal in gymnastics. And it's just amazing to see that when we are able to get our mental health in check, similar to what Simone Biles did. She took a step back in 2020. She realized her mind and body wasn't connected exactly, and she realized that she needed to focus on her mental health. I feel like, what is the term she used that she said? They lose their place. So as a gymnast, when you are flipping on the bars and you are up in the sky, like when your feet are over your head, the last thing you want is you lose where you are. Like, you need to know your orientation to get through. And she was struggling with that, and she realized she would not be able to safely compete unless she had this mind-body connection. So she had therapy. She went back to the drawing board of, taking some time off the mat and then getting back on the mat and kind of like coming back into it as a novice and being accepting of where she was and where her body was at the time. And through that acceptance, she not only came back, but she came back and got a gold medal. So here it shows you that when we're able to move past our genes, we not only change things for ourselves, but we set new records and we reach new heights for the rest of the world. And yeah, Simone ate that up. She ate it up. So the quickest way out is through. And okay, can I just say it was a full moon for the full moon in Capricorn that like why Simone, what not why, but it was fly that she wore a a diamond encrusted goat chain, literally with the goat. And we know that the Capricorn archetype is the goat, the animal, the goat. So she is the goat of her sport. And then she had her goat, diamond encrusted goat chain as she got her gold medal. So super transcendent, super flexible, and it shows what the human spirit can do when we are resilient and when we accept the limits and push through them. All right, so now that I'm done talking about the human design gates, let's hop into some self-care. So here's some self-care for this full moon in Capricorn transit. One is watch a movie. We watched the movie Trolls together as a family, me, Jack, and Indy, and that was really, really fun. They fell asleep and I kind of like wasn't really paying attention, but I just thought it was really fun to sit down and watch a movie together. I accepted the fact that my toddler probably wasn't going to get through the movie and neither was my tired partner, but just taking the time to work within the limits of our time and do something that was family oriented and fun was still cool. And before anyone fell asleep or stopped paying attention, we did get a few minutes of watching the movie together. And then also seeing Inside Out was a great movie. So next is try the Apple Vision Pro headset. Since we were talking about moving past limits and creating realities, I figure let me share with you guys that I watched, I got to do a 30-minute, what is it called? Why am I losing my words? Experience. I think at Apple they call it experiences, but I got to do a 30-minute experience trying out the Apple Vision Pro headset. And no, this is not a sponsored post by Apple. We are just an Apple family. And because of that, we took the time to go to the Apple store and watch the experience through the Apple Vision Pro. And what I thought was really cool is they have an experience called environments where you're able to literally have a 180 view of an environment and literally feel like you are in a different place, in a different world. So even though you may be trapped in the limits of your environment, you now can be at home and through the beauty of the technology of alternative reality or mixed reality, you can feel like you are somewhere else. Also, that experience literally made me cry. I took off the headset and I had tears running down my face because I just knew how beautiful it was to be able to capture these memories. There was another part of the Apple Vision Pro experience that I was able to see what 3D pictures look like and spatial pictures or imagery looks like where you can capture video or memories exactly in 3D as it's happening. And that was such a beautiful experience to know that like a first birthday or because what I saw was a birthday, and also a mom blowing bubbles with her baby. But it was just like we are able to now capture these beautiful experiences with our family members and watch it back as if we're there. It's called, is it like VDR, if that's what it's called? So there's a view, it is like virtual, but it's not quite virtual reality. So is it called alternate reality or mixed reality? These are ways of being able to feel like you're somewhere else, but also you can see through it. So like you can see what's around you, but you can also put up a screen and have another reality in front of you. I would definitely say try out the experience because once you're in it, what I'm saying makes more sense because there are a few, there's augmented reality. There's mixed reality and there's virtual reality. So there's different types of realities, and you guys can Google the specific terminology. And I'd also say just checking out apple.com, the website, and seeing how they describe the product, just so I'm not messing up their verbiage that they would want to use. But yeah, it was a beautiful experience being able to do that through a headset, and knowing that you can connect with people that way, and also take time for yourself by looking through the headset. It was just, yeah, 10 out of 10. Oh, what was really, really cool, Jack got to see Megan Thee Stallion perform on that headset. And imagine seeing a Megan Thee Stallion's work on a headset in like mixed reality. So it was super, super cool. But I got to see Alicia Keys perform, and it was like as if you were in the studio with her and she's singing to you right in front of a grand piano. That was super cool, like in real time. Next is learn a new song. So I love to sing to my daughter and just kind of make up songs off the top of my head, and she really, really loves it. But since we have Gate 56 located in the Throat Center, and we had a few throat-centered gates transit, I think it would be great to work on your voice and practice singing. I'm a big believer that everyone can sing. It's just that everyone may not have a tone that we like to hear. But I do think everyone has the ability to sing. And whether you're singing for yourself in the shower or singing to someone else, it's a beautiful practice of opening up your throat chakra, releasing energy, and also calming your nervous system. You can even hum if you don't want to sing. Next is go to the mall and window shop. So this is something that we did. I was in Nordstrom window shopping when we went to do the Apple Vision Pro experience. And yeah, window shopping can be very therapeutic because it helps you create the reality of what you want. And even though you might not have the money at the time, the monetary means to buy the things that you're drawn to, you can kind of like say, I could see myself wearing that, or like save up for something now that you have the vision in front of you of what you want to do. Next is mute noisy accounts on social media. Part of accepting life is being able to create the reality you want. And one thing I noticed is social media has become very full of distractions and noise, and part of accepting others for who they are sometimes is allowing them a safe space to be who they are. And if you know that you don't like what you're seeing and you're probably tempted to leave a comment, it might be better at this time, especially with other transits going on, like within Mercury and Venus. I think Venus is in Gemini right now. And Gemini is all about communication, intellect, stimulation, as well as we have Gate 56, which is a Cancer gate in wandering. So we want to make sure we're not wandering too much, and we're also muting distractions that could keep us from focusing on the things that we're passionate about and what we feel like we're here to actually do. All right, so now let's talk about some writing prompts. So I'm going to take a moment, just because I know that I've been saying a lot. And when I say a moment, I mean like 30 seconds. Dang, the moment I said I'm going to take a moment, 2 people got off. But I really just wanted to take a moment so that you guys can like process what I said, maybe drop down into your body. So now that when I cover the writing prompts, you can either write them down or you can contemplate on it as I say it. So the first writing prompt is, what can I say no to? Part of accepting limits is knowing what is for you and what is not for you. So what can you say no to this month? Next writing prompt, how can I live in a more balanced way? I saw a comment that said extremes, and yes, when we are dealing with extremes, it's important to find balance and be in a space of temperance. For the new moon in Cancer, one of the themes that I had written down was temperance. And when we're able to be in a space that is temperate, we can then enjoy life more. We can be in the joy vibration. Because if you look at the scale of emotions, where it shows like shame, guilt, anger is like on the bottom, the frequency lines look like that, like very fast and kind of like very kind of chaotic. But when you look at the frequencies of joy, bliss, love, it tends to be way more like mellow. Sometimes I think bliss actually appears as a straight line, because when you feel bliss, it's just like true connectivity to the earth and true, like it's almost like true peace, true stillness. Next is, am I limiting myself due to my beliefs? For example, if Sha'Carri felt like her being told that she couldn't be in the Olympics because of her cannabis use, if she let that stop her from doing another meet, practicing and preparing for the 2024 Olympics, she would not have won the silver medal. If we let the limits, even for me, I've been battling with the limits that, you feel as a person of color. For me, being a Black person in the United States, I grew up feeling limits. I grew up feeling like because I'm Black, I won't be successful in certain things. I won't have a lot of money. I won't do certain things. And I had to realize, like, race relations and also the idea of racism, not saying it doesn't exist, it definitely exists, and it definitely is traumatic, especially if you're someone who experienced it. But if you focus on it, it can actually hold you back from being what you're meant to be, a joyous, happy, abundant human. And we cannot let the bitterness and the anger of others put us in a vibration or a state that takes us out of what we're meant to truly be, which is happy and abundant humans. And just remembering that can help you kind of like not allow the limits of what other people have told you or what life is showing you to keep you from doing things. Because we see that people of color, Black people, are able to break barriers every day, create exorbitant amounts of wealth for themselves, and live happy lives. Today, I think it was Jackie Ina's birthday, and I saw her post a beautiful picture of herself on top of a birthday cake with stars on her. And I was just like, wow, she's a reminder of someone who doesn't allow limitations or what someone else has told her her experience should be as a Black woman keep her from breaking barriers. And we see that not only has she been able to create a large audience and be influential and create products and services, etc., around her struggles of breaking into the beauty industry, but she's also been able to cross over and be mainstream and be someone that doesn't allow life to get to her and the circumstances of what she's told to get to her. She ends up breaking those barriers and standing out and, doing what people said she couldn't do. Excuse me, had a message. All right, and then lastly, what actions can I take to rewrite my reality? So yeah, people tell you you can't do this, you can't be this, or maybe no one's told you. Maybe based on what you see in your environment, you feel like you can't be or can't do. But one of the ways you can rewrite your reality is literally stop using the word can't and just believing that you can, and telling yourself that I'm going to work within the limitations of what I have, which is why oftentimes you hear Black people say, like, we have to just be better. We have to do things better. We have to be more unique. We have to push past, because we know that we are dealing with the limitations of what the world has told us. So we deal with those limitations by being the best, by pushing past adversity, by moving through obstruction, and by doing so we end up being like top performers in whatever we do, because of choosing not to say no and not to say I can't, but to say I can and I will. All right, so that is pretty much it for this video. I also do have a video that will be coming soon that I made a long time ago as I was building this channel out, that is about rewriting your beliefs around money, and I really hope I get to put it out soon. A big part of it is I know that I'm still working through my beliefs around money as I'm working on this YouTube channel and hoping that it monetizes. I know that I've done the things and I've done the reprogramming work, but I'm still waiting to see the results of my efforts. And I think that sometimes when you are doing that, you feel like, I don't want to share this. And people are like, girl, what are you talking about? But I know that it's so important because when people see people who are wealthy, they do listen to what they say, but they forget that a lot of those things that they were saying, they were actively doing years before the money came. And that is kind of like the secret to wealth, is that you have to trust yourself before it actually happens. So yeah, I can't wait to get that video out to you guys. I'm just really excited to have a plethora of content here for you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy new moon in Leo. My family's coming back in. So I'm gonna take a break. Hi, baby. Aww. Indy made a appearance. Okay, she's ready to breastfeed, guys. So we are currently in the weaning phases. So I will see you in the next video.